Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters Net podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And joining me today is a special guest hailing from the West Coast, Carol Thiessen, aka Carol Sings. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on this call. It's great.
No worries. Technically more a podcast than anything, too. That seems to be what we call it these days. So
Right.
It's all good. I guess, how you been? How's the weather out there?
Warmer than usual for this time of year. We had a little bit of snow yesterday and then it all went away. And usually we have, at least a foot of snow by this time of year, but we've had very, very little. It's quite warm.
That's pretty good to hear. I guess, which part of the States are you hailing from?
I'm actually in British Columbia, just north of the state of Washington.
Oh, you're from Canada. Okay.
I'm from Canada, yeah.
Canadian, eh? That's pretty cool.
Yes, that's right.
Actually, you're real close to Vancouver because I was actually there. Boy, I think that was 2019. That was all pre-pandemic wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm probably about a 4-hour drive from Vancouver.
Ooh, okay. So not close. Okay, fair enough. But beautiful city nonetheless, even though it seems like, I want to say probably everybody wants to at least get high these days, or at least they always want to promote the whole thing with like smoking marijuana and everything, these two. But as I say, we kind of close to that. All right. That's all good. So, Carol, I want to welcome you to my podcast right here. And the way it's going to work is we're just going to get to know you more, both as the musician, but I guess also as the individual too. So, any questions? So hopefully you have time to review. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So let's start off with getting to know you more in general. So I guess, who are you and how did you become a musician?
All right. Well, I think it probably started from before I was born. My parents weren't musicians, but they were very godly people. I was about 3 weeks premature, I believe, when I was born. And back in the 60s, it was much greater concern than it is now. And so they weren't sure if I would live or not. But they decided to name me Carol Joy. Carol means song of joy, and joy is joy. And so then it just one thing led from there. I did survive, and I would sing songs on my way to school. And I never actually wrote any of them down or kept them, but I remembered them. But kind of as an aside from that, even though I was creating these songs, I could only sing about 5 notes. I was very tone deaf, and couldn't really hear the harmonies, couldn't hear the exact notes sometimes. So I'd sing songs in about a 5-note range. And I also couldn't speak properly, so I had speech therapy, which I didn't realize until I was in my 20s that was actually speech therapy that I had. And so then grade 5, I started learning the French horn in the high school band. So this little Carol Joy was carrying this huge French horn back and forth from school. I really enjoyed it, but it was a little bit heavy. So then I changed to the flute. And then I found out that my high school that I would be going to didn't have a band. So then I changed to piano. And there was a teacher just down the road. So I took piano for about 3 years. So that would have been up until grade 7, 8, 9. And then I really wanted to play things that I enjoyed rather than just what I was being told to play. And I'm sure there's advantages to staying with that, but I decided I'm not going to be a concert pianist, so we'll just do this. But I challenged myself to play lots of different songs that I enjoyed. And then I went back to the French horn in the senior high years, started teaching myself guitar. And after probably about, I think it was 6 years after I had, I guess it was after I'd started playing piano, around. Anyways, I went back to some Royal Conservatory books, and I ended at grade 3. And now I was actually, with the challenges that I'd given myself, I was actually able to play grade 6 piano. So that was quite exciting to me. And but I still really hadn't written any songs yet. And then I was living with a elderly lady when I was attending UBC, the University of British Columbia. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to write a birthday song for her. So I sat down at the piano and I wrote her a birthday song. And so that was my first song that I ever wrote. And then, probably about 2 years later, I wrote another song. I actually just wrote the words, and my mom challenged me to put some music to it. And so then I did that. And then nothing really for a few years after that. But that's kind of the basic how I became got into music. And I'm still not sure if I call myself a musician, because I'm not extremely accomplished in it, but I am learning and I'm enjoying music.
That's ultimately what it boils down to, is making sure you also enjoy it as well. So
that's right.
But I would say when you're talking about grade 6, I think, like, is that the Mozart level? You're able to play like those sorts of style of music?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And actually, I never knew it went by grades with like the piano wise too. So I guess how's that work out?
Yeah. I haven't done any more lessons on that, and I haven't really gone into that, but I'm still enjoying playing the piano and challenging myself on it.
Actually, I was trying to figure out like how it works in terms of like how they teach you like the piano wise too, because you were saying like it goes from like grade 1. Is that how it goes, or is it like because I know you said like grade 3 and grade 6?
Yeah, you start off on some. Well, I think they've changed it recently, so this is how I was taught. And there's, I believe, a few other systems out there as well. But you start up at some basic levels, and then you go up into, it's kind of like with school, we start at the grade school, and then you go to the high school, and then you go to the university. And so with the piano, I was at the basic level, which would be like elementary, and then I went into the grade levels. And then after that, you can go into higher levels that you're going to be able to be a teacher and so forth in piano. But you have to get to a certain level of accomplishment before you can be a certified teacher.
I see. I guess, do you do teaching on the side?
I don't. No, I haven't reached that level at all. I don't do any. I did teach my children a little bit as they were growing up. Some of them wanted to learn piano, so I was teaching them some of the basics. But no, I'm not a teacher.
All right, I see. That's all good though, because I know in terms of like music wise, people normally they'll do multiple jobs, but they also do like a little bit of music on the side. And some of them you do learn are actually teachers. They also do a little music teaching on the side. So, but I guess speaking of which, I guess talk about your music a little bit too. I guess so you wrote that birthday song for that one older lady. So I guess that seemed to be the catalyst. I guess talk about your music a little bit more.
All right. So I did write a few more songs to my children, and I would often sing them to sleep, and I would take various songs that children's songs, and I would personalize them for the children, put their name in there in different spots. And so then I would do that and sing them to sleep. And then my son, my oldest, he says, "Mom, could you sing me Jonah?" Sing you Jonah? Yeah, sing me Jonah, please. Oh, I know the story of Jonah from the Bible, but I don't really know any song called Jonah. But then there, right on the spot, I just it just all came to me, and I just, little verse by verse, different things that were happening in the story of Jonah, I wrote it. And then there was a few others here and there that I wrote, but nothing really major until 2001. Then the pastor at our church says, you know what, I really would like to have some songs from our church. And because there's all the hymns and so forth, and then there's different major groups that are creating songs that the churches use. And so I thought, you know what, God, I could probably do that. I would like to challenge myself to do that. I would enjoy that. And so then I believe it was the same day I sat down at the piano, and I wasn't actually thinking of writing anything, but I just wanted to play piano. I had enjoyed playing piano. I'd come home from school, and I'd sit down at the piano and I'd play for hours. And the mom would say, Carol, I'm enjoying your playing, but do you have some homework to do? And so this was just another one of those moments where I wanted to sit down at the piano and just play for fun. So I opened up this classical music book and started playing. And because my heart is in praise and worship of God, words of praise and worship to God came to me with that song. I'm like, wow, this is really new and strange, but quite exciting, actually. And so then I turned the page, and I got another set of words for the next song. And I'm going, whoa, God, you really got my attention here now. And so then that's how those first two songs came about. And then other songs, it was, some of them I just started playing a rhythm out on the piano, and then words came to me later for it. And sometimes I write the words and put the music to it, and which is probably the most common one. But occasionally the words and music come to me at the same time. I've had a fair number like that. And then like this other, I think I've probably only had it once or twice where I've played out a rhythm and then put words to that rhythm. Mostly the words come first, and sometimes the words and music come all at the same time. It's just a thought comes in my head and I just start going with it.
Yeah, I can see what you mean too, because I've actually collaborated with a couple of people in our indie community on band together, and we'll get to that in a little bit too. And but what I noticed was I've always done a little bit better when I heard the music. It was like already there and everything too, and then I threw in the lyrics as it goes along too, because you would hope the lyrics just flow with the song. So I can see what you mean too. But it's also funny with how the inspiration works as well, because it's always funny where you like find inspiration too. It could be like a landmark or something from a book, for instance, too, and it just like clicks in your head too. So you just know is that sort of, I guess we could call it divine intervention at that point too, if that's what you want to call it. So I guess, do you base your lyrics all based on praise and worship and other things within Christianity?
For the most part, I would say well over 90% of them are. I have a couple love songs that I've written. The second one I haven't posted yet, but there's always a little bit of my relationship with God in there. It's not necessarily 100% that, but it's somewhat there. And then I wrote a fun song for my kids. This was way back when, one of my first songs with the kids. Somebody had stepped on a bee, and it had been bothering us, and now it wasn't going to bother us anymore. I don't know. I just burst into song and saying that the bee don't bother me now. We were down in Belize at the time, so it's a little bit of a Creole sound rather than the bee isn't going to bother me now. It's the bee don't bother me now. Oh, the bee don't bother me now. I done stomp him good with me tennis up on me foot. Oh, to be no bother me now. And so that was one that's not biblical, my faith-based songs, but I would say most of them are, yes.
Are bees normally supposed to sting you if you kind of step on them or do any sort of bothering?
Well, because their shoes, they call them tennis. If it's a run, some people call them a tennis shoe or a running shoe, runners. Well, they call them tennis there. And so because the shoe was on the foot, my foot was protected. But yeah, it could sting you if you stomped on it barefoot.
Yeah, that's for sure too. Actually, mine was always by accident when you were just trying to mow the lawn too, and there you get those little, maybe not so much like the kind of bees, because I'm assuming when you're saying bee, I'm thinking you're like those typical flower bees that get the pollen and everything, or something like that.
I believe that's what it was. Yeah.
I think these ones, not hornets, but
yeah, there's hornets, wasps, yellow jackets, lots of them that are in that kind of family.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say wasp or yellow jackets too, because I felt like it probably was like little yellow jackets as well. That was actually the first time I actually got stung by those kind of bees. So those ones always stink. So
yeah,
no good deed goes unpunished, as we like to say.
That's right.
So it's unfortunate, but it happens too. So I guess where'd you get the name Carol Sings? So I know it's your first name too, but I guess did you jump around with like various names before settling on your current band name?
That's a good question. I don't think it took me too long to come upon it. I just thought, you know what, this is, I needed to, basically I started on just my regular Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and I started doing lives. I had wanted to basically, shortly before COVID hit, I was thinking, you know, I really want to get my songs out there again. I had originally had a digital piano and a small mixer and one of those audio cassette recorders, little audio cassettes. And so I was taping myself on that and giving them out. And that was a real challenge because I'd have to, oh no, I made a mistake. Stop it, rewind, put it back on again, and trying to make it perfect. And then I thought, I don't have any recording equipment anymore. And of course, those audio cassettes are very outdated. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I should start doing some little jam sessions in my home and present my songs to people. And then COVID hit. I thought, oh, how am I going to I really believe I need to get these songs out there. They can't just be for me. I have to get them out there. So anyways, I started this doing lives on my personal Facebook page. And actually, no, I started recording them first of all, and then trying to put them on there. But if the song was too long, I had to do it as a live. And then I'm not sure how I came up with it. I thought, you know what, I should probably have a separate page for my songs. So then I couldn't use the same name. So then I came up, well, I'm singing, so it's Carol Sings. And then I made my YouTube channel, and I actually just recently found out that I could change that to Carol Sings. And I'm not sure if I'm going to change that to Carol Sings or not. Most people know that it's Carol Thiessen. So I'll probably just keep that as Carol Thiessen. And my personal page, Facebook page, is Carol Thiessen. And at this point, my Carol Sings will stay as Carol Sings.
That's all good. Yeah, like I said, inspiration comes in like many ways too. So it's almost like, hey, we'll just take the easy route. So, or at least the first thing that comes to mind. I know with me,
Yeah.
a couple times, like if it was somebody that kept sticking in your mind, for instance, like whatever name it might be, for like a character, for instance, it's always like, okay, let's just use that because it's not going to go away anytime soon. So
Right.
that's usually what you mean. But I guess before we jump into COVID, I guess who do you consider has been like a big influence in your life, both in terms of your music?
Okay. I listened a lot to Chuck Girard. He was one of the main people in the love song band back in California in the 60s. So I listened to him a lot. I listened to Amy Grant in her earlier years, Evie Carlson. Basically, I chose at an early age that I wanted to have praise and worship as a major factor in my life. And so I chose, if I had any say in it, to listen to songs that were praise and worship. And so pretty much all of my early influencers were that. There's possibly a few others. I think I did listen to some Neil Diamond. My sister had a Neil Diamond record, or a few of his records. Who else was there? I think there was another one that wasn't Christian related. Oh, I can't think of his name right now.
I would probably say Elvis.
No, well, yeah, actually, I did. I wasn't thinking of Elvis, but I did hear some Elvis songs. Yes, I was thinking of somebody else. Leaving on a Jet Plane and Country Roads and oh, but I can't remember his name. Those are two of his songs.
Not coming to me, but I would have thought maybe like Neil Young or something like that too. Because when you said Neil Diamond at first, I was thinking of the song "You'll Be a Woman Soon." I think I get it mixed up with Neil Young, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
But was it Neil Young or was it somebody else?
No, it was no, it wasn't Neil Young. So there was Neil Diamond, and then this other one. I'm like, why can't I think of his name? We were actually my children were actually surprised because they were busy singing part of one of his songs. And Mom, you know him too? I says, yes, I grew up with him. But unfortunately, I can't think of his name right now. They were singing Country Roads. Country Roads, take me home.
I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name?
We'll picture it later too, but I think
yeah.
It might have been Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
No.
I feel like it was that.
John Denver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're all right. I don't know why I'm thinking Crosby, Stills, and Nash for some reason, but okay. All right. That's all good. And actually, I can't tell you how many times I heard that song because I work a second job at a restaurant. And, of course, you play the music through loudspeakers and everything. Mm-hmm. So, of course, Country Roads is one of those songs. So you hear it for like the 10,000th time for each night and everything, too. So,
yeah.
It gets old after a while. So it's unfortunate, but sadly, but it happens.
That can happen with any song.
Yep, that's for sure. But I know you talked about COVID a little bit earlier because it seemed to have an impact on like the music that you were trying to release. So I guess outside of the music, how bad did COVID impact you, your family, and community?
There was a fair number of people here who were hit with COVID. My husband and I and our children were not hit very hard. We did get sick a little bit, but it wasn't really anything worse than any other flu that we'd had. His parents got quite sick, and they live in our community here, but they both had to be in the hospital. Big Dad, they had to focus mostly on his heart. They suddenly put COVID aside because he had a heart condition as well. And so then they were focusing mostly on his heart. But Mom had to be on a lot of oxygen. But they are both doing well now. That would have been September of. They didn't get hit until September of 21. It wasn't even in 2020. It was 21 that they got hit. But they're doing very well now.
That's good to hear. And
they're in their 80s.
That's a nice long life too. So hopefully provide you with a good more decades, I guess. At least a couple more decades. That'd be nice.
That would be nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Like I said, did you release any of your music during COVID, or did you kind of put it off until like 2021, 2022?
No, that I actually chose that because I couldn't have people in my home, that this is how I would do it. And so that's when I started releasing my songs initially just onto my Facebook page, and then onto Carol Sings, which within probably just a couple months, I started my Carol Sings. And then probably a couple weeks later, I had a friend saying, you know what, I don't have Facebook. I want to hear your songs. So then I decided to start the YouTube channel. And so actually, some of them, that must have been really early on. I was thinking it was later in 2020, but that would have been near the beginning of January 2020, because I noticed some of my songs are showing that they've been on there for 3 years.
Okay. I see. Are you just strictly on YouTube? I guess a little bit of Facebook. Did you try Spotify or anyone else?
I haven't at this time. I was considering starting Spotify or I've got Reverb Nation, I think it's called.
Not ringing any bells. I don't know if that's Bandcamp or something.
It might be something like Bandcamp. It might have been Bandcamp.
I see. Are you trying to just promote your music in general, or just trying to get people to like listen to it and like maybe be inspired in some sort of way?
I don't necessarily want to make a name for myself, but I mean that kind of comes with the territory. But I really believe that these songs are not meant just for me, and a lot of people have really enjoyed them. And so, yeah, I'd like people to hear them. And if somebody wants to here's more in there, you know what? I think this could use a little bit of percussion, or maybe a little bit of bass sound or whatever. I'm open to that totally, that somebody would collaborate with me on that and take it a next step further. So if any bands or groups out there are enjoying my music and like to do covers and so forth, so some people sing other people's music and some people do their own. So, and some people do a little bit of both.
Yeah, they do like a remix version, that sort of thing too. So maybe they throw a little rap and hip hop in it next.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, maybe we see something like that down the road. So let's make it happen at some point. Maybe let's promote that on the Band Together group. So I guess speaking of which, when did you join the Band Together group?
That would have been May 2nd, I believe it was, of 2020.
That's cool. I guess you just stumbled upon it quite by accident, or did Christina and Greg invite you?
No, I stumbled on it and thought, you know what? This looks like a great group to join. And it has, I've met so many interesting, talented people out there of all different genres, and very welcoming. Especially my Facebook page has grown because of that. Not so much my YouTube channel, but my views on my YouTube channel has definitely grown as a result of that. And so I really enjoy that. I really appreciate Band Together and the fact that I found them, I joined them, and I support what's happening there. Absolutely.
Yeah, Christina and them definitely went above and beyond for all of us, really, because I don't know
That's
what.
right.
Actually, it would be nice to know what other indie musicians had to use like before this group was formed, because it seemed like maybe you had to like reach out to like, let's just say, the broadcast or those radio stations that had their own Facebook pages.
Yeah.
That's probably what you had to do in the beginning. Now it's at least a lot better.
I would imagine. I see are a few radio station pages out there that people are subscribing to, and they offer opportunities to have your music on their site and so forth. And so, yeah, that's probably what they did.
Yeah, something along those lines. I guess. Did you also try maybe see if you can get your song on the radio?
I have a little bit, but not. I haven't pushed that a lot.
I was worth a try. So at least see if I was able to get that lucky one out of a million every once in a while. So
that's right.
So here's open. Fingers crossed. But before we jump into the next question, it's good to see you guys did well through COVID and everything too. It's good to see you all pull through. So it's good to have you on this journey. So, but I guess talk about the gear you use. I guess for your music production. I guess what do you use specifically?
I have Studio One as my DAW, and then Personas Audio Box 2 is my mixer. I have a Yamaha P15 piano, and not sure. Let me just check here the name of my mic. I was going to write that one down. It's basically a condenser mic, just a basic mic. And I have my guitar, which is a Yamaha guitar, and I have my shofar, which comes straight from Israel. What does it say on there?
What do they call that?
This is a shofar. It's a Yemenite kudu shofar. So it's from the Yemenite Jews, and the animal is a kudu. So this was made in Israel by shofar.com.
I never heard of that instrument before. Also, it's kind of oddly shaped too, the way it kind of curves like that.
So it's not as versatile as a bugle, but it would be probably similar to a bugle where you don't have the valves of a trumpet. A bugle is just straight, and then you just change the tone with your lips. And so this one here doesn't make quite as many tones. I think some people can do it, and it might depend on the actual horn as well. But it's played the same type of embouchure is needed with your mouth for this as with a trumpet or bugle or tuba or whatever. But this has a hole that's probably even a little bit smaller than the French horn, and the French horn is the smallest of that type of instrument.
So otherwise, you came full circle back to, I don't say woodwinds or any of like the brass instruments. I guess it's almost like you came full circle and like those sorts of instruments with like the French horn.
No.
No.
Yeah. So this one here is very limited in its tones, but you can do a few different tones. And so then I was able to. I've used it on 2 of my pieces so far. I've had it just almost a year. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. That's good to hear. Actually, what I was referring to earlier was usually a joke is like if you start off with something, like maybe at some point early in your life, and it comes back later in your life. That's why I say it came full circle. So you start off playing the French horn, and then you end up playing this guy.
Oh, okay, right. Yes, I would actually enjoy playing the French horn again. I do have a flute, but I need to. We haven't. I think we took it in at one point in time. My kids were playing with it, and some of the wires got a little bit bent. And so it needs repair, and we haven't chosen to repair it at this time yet. So I still have that. And I don't know, I may go ahead and buy a French horn yet someday. I don't know. But that was even though it was heavy for me to carry, I really, really enjoyed the sound of the French horn. I actually took a summer, 2 months, pretty much the complete summer, and went to a music school and learned how to play the French horn a little bit better. I was with the only French horn in the band, and I sat right next to the trombones. And so then I was told that I sounded too much like a trombone. I had to learn the mellow sound of the French horn. And I really enjoyed it. That was a really good time for me.
I actually used to play cello way back in the day with elementary school through middle and high school.
Well, that was when I was I went back to the French horn again for my last 2 years of high school, grade 11 and 12. And so then in between grade 11 and 12, I went to the summer school.
Okay, I see. Actually, I was getting ready to tell you, because I used to play cello way back in the day with elementary and through high school too. But when it came time to go off to college and a university, they didn't have one there. So unfortunately, it became a lost art. So I had no choice but to sell it because it wasn't playing it. You're just collecting dust the whole time.
Right.
But it's like you say, you want to buy a French horn. I almost want to buy a cello again, but then it's like, it's probably just going to do the same thing because unfortunately, I just don't have any time.
Right. Well, I recently retired. I was doing bookkeeping for a company that my husband had helped start. And so I did that for pretty much the last 6 years. And then I was finally able to get somebody else trained in middle of October of just 2023. And so that has freed up a lot of time for me. And so now I just have to figure out how much time I want to spend on my various obligations and how much time I can spend on my music. And I do want to spend some more time on my music and presenting it. And so I did. Since then, I've actually produced 2 songs, and I have another one almost ready.
All right. Can't wait to see those ones. Are you still pretty active in your church?
As far as attending the church goes, yes. We are faithful attenders. We're involved in a little group that meets once a week, get together just to help encourage each other. And of course, I sing some of my songs there. We sing them together and sing some other songs. Other than that, I'm not extremely involved. Some people are more involved in the church than I am, but I mean, I am definitely a regular attender.
You can turn those events into a little carol concert hall, is what you probably like to call it.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. So hey, people love it.
Right. That's right.
So that's all good. So I guess tell us your process, like how you create a song, for instance. Do you normally like to start with doing the music, or do you write lyrics first, or how do you normally go about it?
Yeah, it all depends on how it comes to me. I have some songs that I'm working on right now that an idea pops into my head and I'm going, hey, that would make a good song. And so then I'd start writing the words, and sometimes I'll just sit down. I have one that I still need to finish. I sat down at the piano and I was just playing. And then there was one part of it that words just came to me, and it was in the dance of life. And I'm like, oh, okay. But that one actually came to me.
It came to me in a dream last night.
Yeah, I have had some come to me in a dream. No, this one I was playing, but I started that one probably in 2020, I think even. And so no, I think it was the following year. I think it was 2021 that I was playing that one. So I'd like to finish that one. I did have one that came to me in a dream, and I woke up and I had to quickly write out all the words and everything and sing the song to me myself a couple times, going, because everything came to me in the dream, and it was quite amazing. And so that one there, I still have to. I have done a quick little live on it, but it really needs more than that. And there's a lot of little subtleties and everything in there. And I actually have a few kind of a choreographed dance that goes with it. And so I'd like to do that one. So we'll see how that one comes together at some point in time. But yeah, it's all different. For the most part, the words have come first and then the music. But I would say 10 to 20% of them have the words and music have actually come at the same time. I'm just thinking on something and it just starts flowing. Open my mouth and the words and the music come out at the same time. And I make a few adjustments here and there sometimes, but I've had quite a few that have come that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. Like I mentioned earlier, I tend to like to have like the music first. They were able to like throw the lyrics over top of it. So that's at least just my preference too.
Yeah. I have done that on some of them, but I would say for the most part, for me, it has been the other way around, or they come at the same time.
It's funny when I mentioned about getting one from like a dream, for instance, too, because I think some of my dreams have got a little weird these days. So
yes, I can relate to some weird dreams sometimes. Some of them are definitely not songs.
Or it's like one of those things like, what did I just dream about? Or something like that. I'm just glad I forgot about it because it was probably really weird. So
yeah.
That's one of the good times of short-term memory loss, just like what happened. So that's all good.
Right.
But I guess, what sort of challenges have you faced being a musician in general?
One would be definitely exposure to, because I believe these songs are not just for me. How do I get them out there to the people who would enjoy listening to them or benefit from them or whatever? So that's one. Another is having the confidence to actually go and do it, knowing that I'm not as accomplished as some people are. And I've had to, I guess one of the challenges is learning how to mix and master. So I've been listening to lots of YouTubes on that and teaching myself how to do that and getting a few tips from a few people here and there. So learning how to, I currently am doing everything myself, learning how to do everything myself. And so that does definitely have its challenges. And there have been a few people that haven't actually believed in me or supported me. And so then I've had to go, you know what? You're welcome to your opinion, but that doesn't have to become my reality. And so then I just have to let them go.
Gotta let the demons go and that sort of thing too. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So those are basically my main challenges is the exposure and not knowing how to do everything and learning it in the process. Those would be my two main ones. And then letting go of people who aren't supporting me.
Mm. Yeah, I see. I was kind of the same way too, with like trying to like learn how to do this and that in terms of like how you maybe not so much mixing and mastering too, but how do you do like podcasts, for instance, or even like
Right.
how to have that interaction as well too. And I guess to a certain extent, music, because I think I'm gonna actually take, I think I'm gonna have to take some notes too, because now some of the collaborations I'm doing, and you can elaborate if you're got any in mind as well, but some of them they just gave me like the guitar and bass tracks. So now it's like, here, you can do what you want with them, knock yourself out, that sort of thing. So, like I said, do you have any collaborations or any in mind that you would like to do in our community?
Um, I would enjoy getting into some, but I'm not really, don't have any in mind at the moment. But I'm definitely open to it. Um, Basically, if I guess I'm kind of looking for somebody to come to me and say, hey, well, do you want to add something to this? But as time rolls on and I get to know the groups more and what they do and so forth, I may actually reach out to somebody in the indie group and say, hey, would you like to do this together with me? But I think I still need to grow a little bit more and connect with them and their music a little bit more in order for me to be able to actually touch base with somebody in order to collaborate, have them collaborate with me.
Yeah, that would be the way to go about it too. So I think I have to check out your channel and everything else too, and maybe see if we can pull something along the lines at some point. So
All
we'll
right.
see what happens.
Yep. That.
That would be fun. But I guess for the next question right here, I guess what advice would you give to the indie musicians in our community?
Keep following your dream. Don't let anybody stop you. Challenge yourself. That's that has been a real big one for me that I've really been excited when I've challenged myself with something and it has worked out. And I'm like, wow, that's great. But going through it, you don't know if I should be doing it. I keep questioning myself. So yeah, just keep at what you're doing, and also stay connected with everybody, especially well, mostly people in your genre, but also other ones, because that's the last two songs, one I've produced and one I haven't quite done yet. It's actually a Christmas song, so I wrote it between the 21st and the 23rd of December. So the song was complete. The whole idea was there, everything. But I just have to get all the pieces together, and I've got all the music done. I just have to get my vocals finalized. And I haven't always separated time out for that. And so that one was definitely inspired by listening to other genres. And so yeah, go ahead and listen to other genres, and you may find something that, you know what, that would be a good way for this music that I'm working on to go.
I'll say, what's your Christmas song? Because I don't know if I can picture you trying Jingle Bell Rock.
Well, actually, it's a medley of three Christmas carols that are would be sung in a church. Although one is probably "Go Tell It on the Mountain" is probably a very popular one that would be sung elsewhere as well. And then I've got a bit of a hip hop rap type thing happening. So I'll sing a little bit, and then I'll do a little bit of voiceover, and then I'll just having the music playing in the background, and then I'll go back to singing a little bit of another song, and then I'll pop some words in there again, and it's kind of putting a little bit of the Christmas story very quickly into a short song. And so that one, those two, my most recent one, which is called Surrendered, and then this one here are basically, I was thinking they were rap, but after listening to some hip hop, I don't know, maybe they're more like hip hop. But anyways, it's that type of thing, which is very different for my music. And if I hadn't listened to, basically it was Changing Methods and the Truth Music, and I forget what the other one was. There was 3 of them. I think it was the metal music. I mean, the not the metal music. What was it? The truth music. The truth music. Or did I say that one already? I think I said that one already.
I think you did, but I guess
yeah.
These guys.
There was 3 of them, and I have it in a post somewhere. And I thank them. Thank them all for being part of this song, because if I hadn't listened to them, I wouldn't have done that song.
That's pretty good. You know, I've actually really started to like dig medleys recently, even though the ones I listen to is probably more on the metal side, to be honest, because they're usually lumping songs together from like specific albums that artists had come out before them. But I've always kind of dug them too, because it just was a perfect flow, for lack of a better term. So it was always a nice flow of the music too. So that was always good. Definitely have to check this out. So I guess this is done. I guess we guys see if we can find the links to those sorts of videos, or are they still in the works?
Well, Surrendered is done. It's out. It was I released that one on the 26th of December. But this other one, I'm debating whether I will basically complete it, but not release it until Christmas, because we're basically past the Christmas season. So I may just put that one on YouTube, but have it scheduled for release for maybe December 1st.
All right, sounds good. Can't wait to hear him.
Yeah, but Surrendered is definitely out already.
All right, sounds good. So is it up on your YouTube channel, or is it just like strictly on Facebook right now?
No, it's I put it on my YouTube channel. How I'm doing it now is, unless I do a live, I basically do it in my DAW, and then I use Adobe Premiere Edition for the photo part, and I put them together and release it onto YouTube, and then from there I'll post it in Facebook. If I do a live, then I'll do that on Facebook, and then transfer that over to YouTube.
All right, sounds good. I'll have to check it out.
Everything gets to eventually be on both of them.
You know, I'm kind of the same way, even though I kind of do more reels and then the occasional post every now and again, or it's something from a YouTube channel. Like you've probably seen some of them too, with podcast interviews and maybe some drum covers here and there. So it's kind of what I have to do, but I have to expand a little bit too with using social media.
Yeah. So I do a few reels. Most of my reels would be, I'll just take part of my song and do it as a reel. Although I have a few other reels that I've done as well. But most of mine are full length videos.
It catches on pretty quick with this new technology these days.
Yeah.
That's all good though. So best of luck on your journey there, mate, Carol. So.
All right.
We have brief questions here. Pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump into the fun ones. Ready?
All right.
So let's see. What is your favorite food to start off?
Well, I enjoy a lot of international cuisine. But if you brought it down to just one, I would probably have to say nachos.
Nachos with cheese and chili. Those are the ones.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit hot.
What's that? You put like the peppers on there and everything too?
Yep, yep.
Oh man, I have trouble trying to do those jalapeno peppers, to be honest.
My son can go a little bit hotter than me. I'm not extremely hot, but I do enjoy some.
I'm gonna say, like, first of all, do they do Buffalo Wild Wings? Is it up in Canada at all? Because they do like the atomic style wings.
I haven't heard of atomic style wings. I've heard of the buffalo, but I haven't heard of the atomic style. Wow. Is that hotter than the buffalo?
Oh yeah, it's very much hotter. Buffalo Wild Wings is one of those chain restaurants. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we don't have we have restaurants that do buffalo wings, but I haven't heard of the chain Wow Wings. No.
Buffalo Wild Wings, that's the chain name. But anyway, right. They do their own sauce. It's the atomic sauce, which is you have to like sign a waiver, and I think they're probably, you would think they're like doing a science experiment in the kitchen there, to be honest. So.
Yeah, my son David would love that.
Hey, he can knock himself out, but we're not taking him to the hospital. I'll tell you that much. He's got to suck it up and take it like a man. All right, that's all good though. But it's his choice, so I'll leave it up to you guys.
That's right.
For the next question here, I guess, what would you say is your favorite movie?
I really enjoyed. It's a different one. It's called Sound of Freedom. It was just released recently, not by any of the major players, and it's a story of he was a federal agent who was involved in releasing a child from the sex trade, and then he went and got the child's sister, and it was just a real eye-opener into the reality of the sex trade. There is a lot of children that are put into the sex trade, and they're taken from their families. Some are taken from their families, some are sold from their families, and it's just a real eye-opener that something needs to change there. And so that's really it's a sad movie. It's reality to some. And it's the one that came to mind.
Yeah. I think the actor's name, Nick. I can't pronounce his last name though, too, but I think his first name was Nick, and then I think he was in Passion of the Christ. I don't think that was him. It might have actually been him, actually.
I'm not sure if he was involved in that one or not. I know Mel Gibson was very much involved in the Passion of Christ, and he endorsed this one, but he wasn't part of this one. But I'm not sure what the guy's name was. He might have been.
I think the real life guy that he was portraying, I think his name is Tim Ballard or Ballard. Is one.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a good choice, yeah. You know what? I would have thought about watching it, but I think I don't think I want to see too much sad movies, to be honest. So even though it sounded like it did a good job, so that's all good.
They did an excellent job. It was really good.
That's good to hear. And let's hope that all those children at least can find a home at some point too. So
yeah.
So for the next,
we support some people in Thailand who are involved in taking basically. They have about 5 children that they care for and raise from teenagers on, so that they don't have to be in the sex trade. And so that's kind of a subject that's very close to me.
Let's continue to do some good work out there. So I should be a part of that. So,
yeah.
For the next the fun questions right here, it's in terms of drinks too. So I guess do you drink by any chance?
Not a lot, but I do some. I would say probably water is my favorite one. I like chai tea, and probably pina coladas might be my favorite alcoholic drink.
If you like pina colada.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. Actually, I had to get a Margaritaville, and it was actually a gift I got from the workplace I got. And right. I gave it to my sister for Christmas because I'm thinking, like, what the hell am I going to do with this thing with Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville? So.
Yeah, margaritas are actually pretty good too. But yeah.
I would say one of our trips, it was a river cruise. It was the first time we had traveled internationally with me and my parents. We actually just drank up like mojitos and what was another one? Mm-hmm. And cosmopolitans. I would say we were pretty guilty of that. So mojitos are pretty good. I would say mojitos are good.
Yeah, they are good too.
All right. And for lots of fun questions, what is currently your favorite song?
My favorite song. I had that written down here. Oh, right. Yes. So apart from my own, of course, I have a new favorite Christmas song. It was written by Thomas Hirschler, and it is basically a song that, as if Joseph, the father of baby Jesus in the Bible, if he was rocking his little baby Jesus to sleep and singing a lullaby to him. And it's called "You're Gonna Save the World Someday." And when I heard that song, I listened to it, I would think probably at least 6 times, just right in a row. And it was just, he did it so well. It was just him and his wife singing with a guitar, and the melody and the harmony, the words, it was just made a real impact on me. So that's right now my favorite song.
That was a good choice. I don't know if I ever heard of that group before, or I guess it's just him and his wife.
Yeah, it's I just came across him. Don't know how I came across him on Facebook, but somehow I must have been scrolling, and there he was. And I don't know, it just really struck a chord in me.
I want to say it's the machine talking, as we like to call it too, because there was a show called Person of Interest, and it dealt with what was called the machine that was able to like read if people are going to get like hostile or something like that too. It's kind of like what the whole current AI or face recognition is doing. So normally when a post just randomly shows up, or you're just thinking about something, because we've had that happen too, where we're just thinking about like maybe some sort of furniture and it shows up in a Facebook post. I'm thinking the machine read our mind. Yeah. So the machine read your mind. So we should be worried now. Right. But it's all good. It's all good. So good choice. And I guess, Carol, we've kind of breezed through all the questions right here. We're down to the last question. But I guess before we jump into it, did you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
I don't know that I have any questions. I really appreciate the you asking to interview me and help to tell my story to everybody. Taking time to do that, I really appreciate that. And I ask that God would bless you in whatever you do.
Thank you. That's what we say there. And actually, I had to do it before Christina and Greg got to you, so I had to do that. All right.
I have had a few posts from them. I've seen them and saying, yeah, you can, if you want to get interviewed, just put your name down below, your information, and I'm like, well, yeah, probably someday, not now. And then, I don't know, you just, you were the first one to actually reach out and contact me. So you were able to, you preempted whatever they were thinking of doing if they were.
Something like that too. Otherwise, I jumped the. I don't know, jump the gun's the right word or something like that too. But
No, it's something what came to mind, but I don't think it really is jumping the gun. But you took a proactive step.
We proactively reached out. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually reached out. Where they're just kind of saying, yeah, if you want to be interviewed, contact us. Whereas you says, you know what? I'm going to contact this person, specifically this person. And I think that was, and you did it at the right time. I was ready for it then.
All right. I got it at the right time. That's all that matters. All right. That's all.
That's
good.
right.
All right. But we'll go ahead and jump into the final question right here. But given what COVID has done, so obviously you and your family, you've kind of had a little bit of a rocky road, but you've came out better and stronger. But for those who haven't been so lucky to, for better or worse with COVID, I guess, what sort of message of hope would you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world?
Find a way to find that God loves you and accepts you, and that's really something that if you listen to my songs, there is definitely that message there. And just to, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, and I will do what I can. I can't do everything, but I will do what I can, and just don't give up.
Don't ever give up. So,
yeah.
Put one a little Jimmy V sort of right style right there at the end there, so it's all good. So it's spoken like a true prodigy. So all right. So Carol, you've reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked a little over an hour. And I guess, do you have any final words or any shout outs you want to give before we close?
Blessings to all of you, and I look forward to hearing comments from you, and hopefully I will get some more followers on Facebook and some subscribers on YouTube, and that these songs that I've written will get out there to whoever needs to hear them.
Spread the word, as we like to say. So
that's right. Yeah.
We'll make it work. We'll try to make it work. So, all right. So, everyone, my guest today was Carol Thiessen. Thiessen. Actually, I had to pronounce it right. Sorry. You know what? I'm so used to Theismann. That's the thing. So that's the problem.
Some people say Thiessen with a th sound, and some do it with a t sound. And you know what? I respond to either one. We usually say Thiessen, but Thiessen is good enough too.
All right. So either or, Carol Thiessen or Carol Thiessen. She's a musician hailing from Canada right here. And she's putting out some music right now. So go hit her up on her YouTube, Facebook, and whatever other social media she's on. She's doing wonders out there, and she's willing to collaborate with you all. So, Carol, I want to wish you, first off, a Happy New Year. And hopefully you all had a good Christmas as well, too. So you stay safe. Stay rock on. God bless, and stay tuned, y'all.
All right. Thank you, and Happy New Year as well.